The BBC, Sky News, STV and Channel 4 might fail to do their duty and report it because they're in the tank for scheming Sturgeon and always have been, to be honest. But the SNP is coming apart at the seams. Last week, the Supreme Court flatly rejected Queen Nicola's illegal and spurious bid to host Indy Ref 2, which no one but her rabid base actually wants. And today, shocking video leaked to the Daily Record shows one of her top civil servants joking with colleagues that his job is about, quote, breaking up the UK. The truly appalling comment from Ken Thompson, the Director General of Strategy and External Affairs, shows exactly what the Nationalist focuses on, even during a spiralling cost of living crisis.
I'll tell you a secret about why I've got strategy in my job description. It's partly that it's a word that gets me through some doors in Whitehall, and then they discover that what I'm actually there to talk about is breaking up the kingdom. So it's a shorthand for constitutional change.
Oh, how those attendees laughed. But there's nothing funny for Scots suffering from a failing NHS, record ambulance waiting times and a spiralling drug death crisis as £1.5 million is spent on the salaries of civil servants tasked to work on the independence brief. And now, Sturgeon is finally being stood up to by women who know her insane gender reform recognition bill, which appeals to the woke minority she so covets, puts them at risk. So this new law, which is expected to pass this year, gives children as young as 16 the legal right to change gender without a gender dysphoria diagnosis, while cutting the time someone has to live in their new gender to just 3 months. So look at what happened last night when the feminist protester Alexander Darroch finally gave the First Minister some much-needed home truths about just how disastrous her law will be for biological women.
Women campaigning for women's rights is not against trans people. Shame on you, you're letting down vulnerable women in Scotland, not allowed to have their own spaces, away from any male. There are just no misogynistic behaviour does not change when a cross-dresser or someone who's actually went through gender reassignment. I've received great threats, death threats from male to self-ID as women. Shame on you, you've fermented this culture in Scotland that basically tells women are bigoted for standing up for women's rights. I see you, and thousands of women around Scotland see you as well. And those of you who are sitting here complicit, keeping your mouths shut while women have actually been raped by males who have self-ID'd as women. And that's got nothing to do with trans rights, and I support trans rights.
What an extraordinary video. I mean, Sturgeon looked furious. She doesn't like hearing the truth, does she? J.K. Rowling, the most famous author in the world, who is boldly challenging Sturgeon over this matter, labelling her a destroyer of women's rights, has sent a crate of champagne to Ms Darroch, apparently, who works for a women's rights charity, so she's a good person. The Harry Potter author also tweeted, in spite of all careful precautions, the First Minister has been accidentally exposed to some freedom of speech. Heads will surely roll. And by the way, for those who think there is no risk from Sturgeon's gender ID legislation, then take a look at this report from the BBC's website yesterday. The headline reads, "Trans woman jailed for sex with 14-year-old girl." The article then goes on. The defendant, named by police as David Orton, also known as Danielle Rose Gemini, was found guilty of penetrative sexual activity with a child following a trial. So scheming Sturgeon is playing with fire here, and I think she's going to get burned.